Hi, this is a guide to set up HDR for Windows using Reshade. HDR doesn't work on Windows. Windows is an SDR RGB color space and converts every other color space to that. Without workarounds, you cannot view accurate HDR games. This method with Reshade is the best workaround I've found, and it seems very close to perfect. If you use HDR in games, I urge you to follow this guide, because this will make a night and day difference. First of all, click on the video settings, or go to your ATI dashboard and make sure your GPU is outputting RGB 10-bit full dynamic range. For the video cards, go to Adjust Desktop Color Settings and make sure this Override to Reference Mode box is checked. This will ensure your GPU is outputting the most accurate colors. If you use your TV as a monitor, use PC mode. PC mode will allow your TV to receive and display 444 chroma. If you don't use PC mode, your TV will convert 444 chroma to 422 chroma. This will seriously affect the accuracy of your colors. Consult your TV's manual or search online on how to set up PC mode. If you use a PC monitor, this isn't necessary. In general, you should set your display's pixel light and contrast to the maximum and have brightness at its default. Make sure you use HGig tone mapping for HDR games. Next, we will download the necessary Reshade shaders. The links to both shaders will be in the description of this video. So for Lilliums Shaders, click this link here. And for Autohdr, click this Autohdr.fx link. Then click this download raw file link. You should end up with this file and this file here. Extract that zip, and you should have this folder and this file. Open the folder, go to the shaders folder, and drag and drop this Autohdr.fx into the shaders folder. Replace. Next, we'll download Reshade. So go to their site, click this download link, and personally I download this Reshade version with full add-on support, because apparently it has full of features, but it says you shouldn't use this with multiplayer games. Although personally I wouldn't use Reshade with any multiplayer game, because it might flag it as an exploit and get you banned. So it's up to you. Personally I use this version. Download it and double click the exe. Okay, browse. You want to find the main exe for the game you want to install Reshade for. So for Elden Ring, that's this exe. Double click, next. You have to select the API your game uses. I think Elden Ring uses DirectX 11, so I'll select that. Next, 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 finish. Then go to the directory where you just installed Reshade. And you should find this Reshade Shaders folder. Open it. And then open the folder, this folder on your desktop. And copy the Shaders and Textures folder. And paste them into the Shaders and Textures folders in your game directory. Okay, Reshade should be installed now. Now we have to configure Reshade, so start your game. The game may freeze on initial startup for 30 to 60 seconds. This is normal because Reshade has to compile its shaders. When it does finally load, press the home button on your keyboard. Skip tutorial. And find this Autohdr shader and click it and then drag it to the top. And check it. Make sure this input color space is set to 0, which is Rec 709, and this output color space is set to 1, which is sRGB. find this Lilliums HDR black floor fix and place it underneath this Auto HDR. If this Lillium shaders, if any of the Lillium shaders has an error message here, what you have to do is go to this CSB override and click here, and then type in block capitals CSP underscore HDR10, and then press enter. That should fix the error. You want to check this enable STR black floor emulation. For processing color space, you want BT 2020 selected. But then check this enable black floor lowering. And this is a crucial step because it lowers near black detail. But this isn't the same as lowering brightness. When you lower near black detail to the correct level, you will expand the HDR color range. This is a huge deal, especially on an OLED which has infinite contrast ratio. But that's only the case if the near black detail and brightness are perfectly configured. If they are perfectly configured, your picture will have much better depth and more natural colors. Unfortunately, I can't really give you a number to set for this because depending on your display, you'll have a different level of near black rays. The higher this number is, this number, the lower the near black levels will be lowered. The only tip I have is to avoid black crush, and this can be found in scenes with the lowest blacks. Black crush is color discoloration around the lowest blacks. So if you do see this, lower this number to raise near black levels until the discoloration is gone. Personally, I've got it set to 0.047, so you might use that as a starting place. If you want to check out what the HDR is actually doing, place this Lilliums HDR analysis underneath these two shaders, so it can analyze what they're doing to the HDR. And just check it if you want to see what's happening. And that should be it really. It should be set up now. There are two main drawbacks with this Auto HDR. Unfortunately, it doesn't work with all games, because it limits the peak brightness in some games to 80 nits, which is far too dim to be able to be usable. And for games it does work in, it raises the brightness by 20 nits, which isn't really a huge deal. I've tested Resident Evil 2, Hitman 2, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Elden Ring. They all seem to work, but Tetris Effect, Mass Effect, and Battlefront 2 didn't work, so you'll have to try it for yourself, see if your game works. If you have any problems, please leave a comment in the comment section. I'll try to help you out, and yeah, have fun with your HDR games.